Alrighty, so it's time to introduce our next phenomenal faculty member and speaker. This gentleman is like my younger brother from another mother. I'm telling you what, he is a serial entrepreneur. This man has owned 15 different car dealerships. He is the man when it comes to doing cars. He loves cars. He's great at cars. He's also been one of those crazy extreme sports BMX racers. He is someone with a huge heart, totally aligned with Mark and I's vision to get 1 million people to become millionaires, $1 million a year earners. And that's not just MBH, it's also MBM, Mark Von Muser. There's a whole lot of MBs going on today in this phenomenal event, Your Finest Hour. But we're going to give it up for the one, the only, the legendary Preston Weekes. Take it away, Press.
Thank you so much, Nikki. It's such a pleasure to be here today. I'm so excited to be here to serve all of you out there. And I know I'm going to do a good job because this morning I woke up and I was with my kids. I've got 3 cute kids. I've got 5-year-old twins. And my little daughter said a prayer for me this morning that I'll be able to serve all of you perfectly and help inspire all your lives. So I hope I can make a difference in your lives today. So my name's Preston Weekes. I'm the owner and founder of Operations X. It's a business solutions company. I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of these speakers here. And, I'm kind of I say on my LinkedIn, if you look me up, Preston Weekes Energy Guy, I'm a rudder to small ship or a rudder to big ships. And, I like to help companies and help companies get to success. Mark's book course is amazing. I had the opportunity to help him put that course together and put it online so that everyone can reach it. And it inspired me so much that I wrote the book, How to Be Up and Down Times. I think it's backwards because it's, through Zoom or whatever. But so I got the opportunity to co-author that with Mark and Mitzi Purdue. And so, that course is so inspirational. It'll change your life. It'll lift your life. And I absolutely recommend everyone to go check it out. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself so you can understand me and understand what I do and understand why maybe some of the things that I talk about today might be relevant. So I'm going to jump into a little bit of my story here. I'm going to do a presentation that's kind of unique, maybe that you haven't seen before. It's going to be live, and I'm going to be interacting with my presentation as we go. So I'm the founder of Operations X. I'm an owner, founder, investor, and co-owner of many companies such as Car Finder, Metamorphosis Energy, Aqua Research, Primato, Car Kings, Easy Money Lending, Dealer Bright, Weeks and Duncan Energy Development. And like I said, I had the opportunity to co-author the book, How to Be Up and Down Times. And I am a car nut. If you went to the dictionary and you looked up car nut, describe what it is. And then in section 2, it'd say Preston Weekes, because I absolutely love cars and I am an adrenaline addict. And I'm going to tell you today about my life of action training because I want everyone to be in action. That's my goal for everyone today out there is to be in action. And so here's a little bit more about myself. So like Nikki had mentioned, I'm an extreme sports junkie. I love it. I used to race and compete in BMX racing. I was in nationals. Now I've got my kids. Those are a picture of my kids on the BMX bikes and my twins on the little motorcycles and all 3 of my kids on my bike. That's me racing my car. I love going fast. Anything that, so all you car people out there, you're all my best friends right from the get-go. And I love skiing. That's my beautiful wife, and she's an inspiration to me. She's the only person that I'll actually wait for on the ski hill because she's worth it. Down there in the corner is an opportunity I had. I was the sponsorship director for Valerie Thompson Racing. We had we're going for world record for the fastest piston-driven car in the world. It's a 16-cylinder, 5,000 horsepower car, which is pretty amazing. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story. So I got into the car business. As I was a kid, I started to drive and I started to buy and sell cars so that I could get a cooler car, so that I could, improve and up my status and drive something that was more fun. So I'd get a car and then I'd kind of sell it for a little bit more money and get another cool car and sell it. Well, I was going into college, had to figure out how to pay for college, and I decided I needed to make some money. So I invested in a $1,600 car. It's actually a picture of that black 1999 Honda Passport on there. I bought it at the auction. I got 10 minutes out of the auction. The car overheated. it had a bad head gasket. I chalked it up to a learning curve, and I had to get it home. I didn't have enough money to even, get it towed back to the mechanic. So I limped the thing home. I drove like 5 minutes and waited half an hour and drove 5 minutes. It took me all day to get home. But what I did was take that car and I ended up selling it. I got my money back out of it and I reinvested in myself. And I grew it. And I built that into 2 cars eventually. And then I took that and I built that and I kept reinvesting in myself. And I built that into 10 cars. And then I got my first partnership. And then we built that into 44 cars. And then I started another car dealership and it kept going and going from there. And I was able to do that because I did what I loved. Cars have been a passion for me. And so everyone out there, if you're looking for change, if you're looking for, something to do right now, I'd recommend going ahead, jumping in and doing what you love, because doing what you love can make a difference. So I built my car business. I was doing all these different things. I had a great successful company. I had multiple locations and things were just booming. And I had a big change in my life. A lot of us are experiencing a change right now with COVID. Maybe you've lost your job. Maybe you've been furloughed. Maybe your job has completely changed. And opportunity called. And I got a call actually from Mark Victor Hansen. And he called me one day and said, "Hey, I've seen what you've done in your car dealerships. I've seen what you've done in your operations. And I've got this idea. It's a startup. We're going to do an energy company. I've got this team. I've been an energy investor for 10 years and I want to make a difference in the world." And so I had that opportunity call and I changed and I pivoted completely because I'm teaching a life of action. And when you have an opportunity, you need to take it. You can't, I've got a typo on there that says you can't take an opportunity that you don't see. And so I want to encourage you all right now in this time of change to be aware, to keep your head up and to make a difference and to look at opportunities. Look at what opportunities are out there. Look at what you can do, because if you don't see the opportunity, you can't take it. And sometimes it might create challenges, and resistance makes strength. It's like working out. You're lifting muscles, or you're lifting weights, and it builds the muscles because you have resistance. And right now there's a lot of resistance, a lot of change, and we can take that and create an opportunity if we look at it, even though it might seem hard at the time. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things that are happening in the world today. And these are really important. These are really important tips and trends. I'm a strategist. I'm always looking ahead, looking forward, taking a life of action. And so I've got this quote from the REM song. It's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. And it's not the end of the world. I don't want to be a doomsdayer, but it is the end of the world as we know it, because life is changing. The future is changing, and everything is changing right now. So we need to take a life of action. We need to pay attention, and we need to watch those changes. So I'm going to talk about a couple of changes that I want everyone to pay attention to. But a couple of things that are happening right now in the world is that the world is stuck apart, but we're in it together. So everyone is stuck apart. We've been in isolation. We've been, quarantined. We've been in our homes. We've been, doing all these things, but we're all in this together. And, I was talking with Nikki, who's so amazing. I was on his podcast. Everyone check out Nikki's podcast. It's a class act show, totally worth your while to listen to. Join it, follow him on it. But he mentioned one thing that was really interesting. He said it's the first time in history that the healthy people have been quarantined. Think about that. So in the past, usually they quarantine the sick people or the people that have problems or issues or things like that. Now all the healthy people in the world have been under quarantine. So, we're stuck apart, but we're stuck together, and no one is exempt from this. It happened every race, every religion, every color, country. It's been across the whole entire world, and it's created this world of pause. So everything's kind of just stopped. It's frozen, and so we've got this world that isn't moving forward right now. And so what we need more than ever right now in the world to make a difference, to make a change, is we need action. So the yin and yang of life it's an important thing to think about because crisis equals opportunity. So we name this summit Your Finest Hour, turning crisis into opportunity. And that's our goal. That's all the goals of every speaker here today and yesterday, is to help inspire you to look at this crisis, look for solutions, and turn those solutions into opportunity for yourself, because people need it right now. People are out there and they need it. And, this is what's going to make an impact. This is what's going to make a difference in everyone's life, including your own. So I'm going to talk about 7 trends that are coming up. They're going to change the world. They're going to stick coming out of this. And in the next 10 years, I believe the world will change faster than it's ever changed before in history because of some of the things I'm going to talk about. But things are moving fast. So hang on, keep your head up, and take action. But first of all, I'm going to talk about remote work. So my company, Operations X, does remote work. We hire remote staff for U.S. companies and hire people around the world to work in U.S. companies, and we bridge that so it makes it easy and accessible. In the past, remote work had been tested, but it was kind of like, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Maybe some people did it and they were good at it, and some people just didn't like it. Well, now it's been forced to be proven. So a lot of you are working at home. A lot of you have been working remotely, and a lot of companies now have been forced into doing this. And so they've taken it and they have proven it. Either they've proven it and they go, yeah, this works, this is great, or they look at it and they go, oh, this is terrible, I never want this to happen again, we need to be face to face. But a lot of people are going to adopt remote work. A lot of companies are going to adopt remote work. And like the picture of the guy here kicking back on the couch on his computer, a lot of employees have really enjoyed some of the benefits of remote work, which I'm going to expound on here. And how I started Operations X and getting into the remote staffing business was a spin out from my car dealership. So when I was running operations in my car dealerships, I had my sales team, my core sales team on the ground. It was interacting with people, they're selling people, they're talking with the customers, and I wanted them to focus on customer quality and making a customer difference. And so I hired a staff member, my very first staff member in the Philippines. And this guy worked for me on the back end. He did all of our online stuff, all of our marketing, all of our pushes. And so my staff, my core staff there could focus on the customers. They'd leave the lot. They'd go home at night. We'd get 300 ads posted at night. My sales team would show up in the morning. They didn't have to do anything. The customers came rolling in and we made sales. And my customers could focus on those people. They could focus on what the customer actually needed, and they didn't have to be distracted with all these other things. So it created higher quality in the end. So that's what I want to do, is basically offer that to companies, because it helped my company so much, which was the kind of some of the origins of Operations X. So some of the other trends that are going to come out of this are virtual meetings. So obviously, we're in a virtual conference right now, which is just mind blowing. I was out at EarthX last year speaking with my team, and never in my life would I thought that we'd be doing virtual conferences, but this is just absolutely amazing. And some of the CEOs I've been coaching, we've been talking about a lot of the positivity of it. And some of those things are that it's fast and cheap and accepted now. And so, when we were talking about it, I go, okay, here's an example. So for work, I have clients in California. If I was going to fly out to California, first of all, it's a nightmare to drive around in California. But I live in Arizona, so I drive to the airport, get up at like 4 a.m, go to the airport, fly to California at 5:30, go there, get my rental car, and begin my journey for the day, driving through the minutia of California and the traffic. And I get to my first meeting, I'd be there for an hour. I drive another 2 hours, 2.5 hours, get to my next meeting. The last time I did that, I drove 8.5 hours to do 4 meetings for 1 hour meeting. So 4 hours of work, 8.5 hours driving, lots of flying, lots of commuting, lots of other things going on. It's an absolute nightmare. So virtual meetings, you used to have to, have the handshake deal, sit down at a desk. But now, because of the change with COVID-19, virtual meetings are acceptable. Not only are they acceptable, but they're actually the norm now to conduct business, which is a benefit, because you don't have to buy the plane ticket. You don't have to waste all the time traveling. And the CEOs I've coached and talked to said, hey, Preston, this is so great, because in 2 weeks, I'm actually accomplishing what used to take me 8 weeks of work to do, because I can go through 8 meetings a day. I'm in my office. I can do the follow-up. I can get everything done. I can use DocuSign, send out documents, get deals done, boom. And we're moving. We're getting things done. And so we need to take life of action and think about the positive and create those solutions and use them and implement them in our businesses. Office use is going to change. I was on the phone with someone I coach from Colliers the other day, and he was telling me about trends going up and down. And office trends, some companies are sizing up because they want to do the separation and help with social distancing. And a lot of other companies are looking at office space going, yeah, maybe I don't need this huge expense. Maybe I don't need to maintain a building. Maybe I don't need to have this liability on my books. And so a lot of that's going to change. And when you look at it from the employee side, if you're working from home, you don't have to commute. That saves you. If you have an hour commute, you just picked up 10 hours a week from working that you don't have to do. So, and I'd go golfing or go skiing. I could fly to Utah, go skiing, and fly home, in 10 hours. And so, you can improve your quality of life. So if we look at it in the positive aspect and we take what we can get out of this, it can really be amazing and be impactful for us. And then, warehouses and office space, with everything going online, I think there's going to be some big changes coming up with that. I think, some retail spaces might be converting to more of a drop ship type of model. And so that'll be interesting. This is travel. This is something I found on Investopedia. I'm going to kind of read a couple points off this, but airlines receive about 60% of their revenues from passengers directly, but 60% of passenger consumer revenue, the big money, comes from business travelers as opposed to those flying for leisure. So business travelers account for 12% of the airline's passengers, but they're typically twice as profitable. And in fact, on some flights, they're even 75% of the revenue. So this is going to be a big hit for the travel industry. I think that's why a little while ago we saw Warren Buffett pull all his investments out of the airline business. But these are just things that are going to be changing, and because of all the dynamics I mentioned before. The next one I want to talk about is broadband, just internet in general. So internet is becoming a necessity now. With everyone working from home and everyone being virtual, internet's going to have the importance as we move into the future of a utility company. It's going to be almost as important as your water or as your electricity, because everything that we connect to is going to be running through internet. So there's going to be massive, massive growth in that. My buddy Michael Ortiz at the Kaiser Group is building data center infrastructures and things like that. And I think he'd back me up on this, but the internet's the future. If you have kids, my wife just had to learn to become a teacher. So, my kids are at home now, and she had, so our education's at home. Well, all these people need internet. Not everyone has internet. And the people that have it, they go, it's easy. Everyone has it, but they don't. There's a lot of issues with that. And so there's going to be a lot of growth with that. And especially as we implement AI, electric vehicles, and then, 5G, as the internet moves into the air and we have high-speed internet, things are going to change. And all this reminds me of this book. So back in college, I went to UVU in Utah, and I read this book in one of my courses called The World is Flat by Thomas Friedman. And the world is flattening because of all the connectivity and because of all the internet coming together. Everyone's accessible now. So my office in the Philippines, I can reach my teams and I can talk to them just the same as I'm talking to all of you right here today. Everyone in this conference that's put this conference together, we've done everything virtually. We've never had to meet. So everyone's right here. Everyone's connected, and it's going to change the world. It's going to change how work in the world looks in the future. One other thing I wanted to mention too is robotics. So if you look at manufacturing and production of things, you can look at the risk. So if I was a big company that had a manufacturing facility and I was running a facility and I had to shut down because my employees, were at risk for the coronavirus and I didn't want to take on that liability as an employer, I just shut down, and maybe you lost $200 million in production capability for that month while you're shut down. Big companies are going to look at this if they're thinking ahead, and they're going to make investments in robotics, which is going to change things. So if they go, oh, shoot, I just lost $200 million off my production line for being shut down for a month, I'm going to invest $100 million into robotics or $500 million to make sure that never happens again and create productivity and consistency. And also too, one thing that we can do with robotics is compete with global costs. So you've got countries out there that, have subpar work standards and they're able to produce things for very, very cheap costs. We see that a lot in China, and it's been a problem. And I'm going to expound on this a little bit more here. So I'll just stop there for now. But efficiency, also too, with robotics and cobotics, so that's robots working together with people. The robots can run. They don't get sick. They don't need pee breaks. They don't need to smoke. They don't need time off. They can run 24/7. And so it can create this massive efficiency. And a lot of people fear this and say, okay, this is going to take away. But I think the complete opposite. I think robotics are a key to U.S. job growth. And I'm going to explain why here. You come into the manufacturing sector. So robotics are a solution for security. So, you don't have your staff getting sick. You don't have your employees getting sick. You can keep running. People aren't getting hurt in the manufacturing product or process. And so, robotics are a really great answer and solution for that. And if we look at here's the important part. And here's why it's a key solution is if we look at where things are being made right now, not enough things are being made in the United States. I want to bring all manufacturing back to the United States. We are innovative. We're creative. We're an amazing superpower country. And I think we need to do that by implementing robotics into manufacturing processes to help lower our costs. Instead of outsourcing things to China and having cheap labor, we can implement robotics, flatline your margins and have your CFO, run the cost analysis on it and lower your production costs with robots. But also, if you look at my stat here that I got from Statista, this was from 2018, manufacturing, it says 28% of the global manufacturing is from China. I think a lot of that, I didn't find a statistic on the United States, but a lot of manufacturing is happening in China. COVID-19 has exposed a lot of those issues that we have, where we've been short on resources. I live in Arizona. It's been the worst state. It was rated the worst state to buy toilet paper in. But we need to up those manufacturing capabilities so that we can be secure and we can produce for our own people. And I think we can do that through robotics. And I think if we brought that 28% back here to the United States, we could create massive job opportunity for people to work in these plants, to help to run the robots, to help to maintain the equipment, to help do the programming and handle all the logistics. So that's why I think it's a job increase. It's a job solution. So let's see, moving forward. So I'm going to jump into my life of action training. So this is something that's near and dear to my heart. It's a lot of, my experiences that I've gone through and how to create opportunity and take a life of action. So first of all, the first pillar I want to talk about is strength and failure. And, to learn how to go into things and fail and come out of them can be your greatest success. So you don't go from selling one $1,600 car to selling 6,200 cars a year and being the top independent buyer in the Intermountain West region for used automotive without having some serious failures along the way. So I've failed. I've learned to fail. And, I got back up and I did it. And that's what's important. So our failures don't define us. They don't create who we are. And most importantly, our failures don't mean that you're a failure. And that's a differentiator that I want you to get out of this. We can fail, and that's something that failed, but it doesn't mean that you failed. It doesn't mean that you failed as a person. I've got this picture when I had an opportunity to go to Thailand for vacation with my wife, and we hiked the Tiger Temple Cave. It was this 1,237 steps. They were crazy. I wear size 12 shoes, and you see how tiny that step is in the vertical. You see my hand. I've got big hands, and that some of those verticals were like 18 inches, for 1,200 steps. So I threw that on there because that was a trial, but we made it to the top, so it wasn't a failure. But I did have a failure, and and I've had a lot of failures, but one of them, was a really challenging time for me, and that's how I developed this course was working through that and the things that I went through in that experience. I had one of my car dealerships, and I was out of town. I was up on a lake house in Idaho. I had my team running a lot. The finance company, we were in a growth phase, and we were heavily leveraged at the time. And the inventory was leveraged by a finance company. That finance company got acquired by a huge, huge company, and they decided to shut everything down. They changed everything. They changed all the rules on how the financing worked. So I'm up at the lake house. I don't have any phone reception. I come back at 4 a.m. I wake, all of a sudden my phone's going crazy. 9 o'clock in the morning, my inventory manager's calling me. Preston, we got a crisis. Finance company's down here. They say they want to take all the cars back. So I was like, holy cow. So this was, without going into details, because we need to keep moving on this, this was a huge challenge in my life. And it pushed me. This was, a baby I felt was part of me, because it was my dealership. I was the one on the line for everything, and it changed how things were working. And I had to realize that because that had changed and because there was a failure in my company, it didn't mean that I was a failure. And that was a big, big learning experience for me in my life. And like I said, resistance creates strength. And I came out of that stronger. I revectored, I expanded and did new things. I didn't let it slow me down. And that's what I want you all to take out of this today, is to take life of action. And part of that too, one of the things that helped me, I wanted to mention is your circle of people. I'm proud of all you being here today, because everyone in this conference is an amazing, incredible person. And you are surrounding yourself by amazing people by being here. The people that are around you, you become what you surround yourself with. So your circle of people, if you're going through a hard time, if you're going through a challenge in your life, figure out who your circle is and surround yourself with amazing people. So I want you to do something with me. If you're in an office with other people, or if you're somewhere in the public, you can do it quietly. If you're by yourself, or if you've got the courage to do it, I want you to say it out loud and do it with me. But I want you to do an exercise. I want you to place your hand on your heart, and I want you to say, I give myself permission to fail, and that doesn't mean that I am a failure. I give myself permission to fail, and that doesn't mean I am a failure. Because I want you to know that your failures will take you to the strongest places in your life. And that's my mission from talking to you today, is to take action. So that's like Nikki had mentioned earlier, I love cars. I said that too, but I do a little bit of racing, and that's one of my race cars there. But you take risk every time you get in a race car. You head into a corner, at 160 miles an hour, hoping that you can make that turn. Well, the same thing in your company. You can't be afraid to take action to get the life that you want to live. You can only fail if you choose to fail, because failure doesn't mean you failed. It just means that thing you did failed, and that you didn't fail, and that you can get back up. And if you don't try, you're guaranteed to fail. If you don't get up and you don't do it, you have 100% chance that you will fail. So I encourage you all to follow your dreams today, to do what you want to do, to get up, to live the life you want to live, and take a life of action. Every failure brings you one step closer to your greatest victory. And all you need to do is make the decision to win. So that brings me to my second pillar of life of action, which is relentless improvement. So I've got a picture. This is a picture of one of my twins when I was teaching them to ski. Did a little bribery to get them to improve. I said, okay, if we do this, it was a snowy day. It was hard to see. It was cold outside. It was like, if you do this, you do a good job. We're going to go down. We're going to get you a popsicle or a lollipop or whatever that is in at the ski shop at the bottom. And so he was super excited to do that. But, I wasn't always the best student in my life. And I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story about, something that I found out about myself and I was able to improve upon. And it was actually really recent in my life. So I was 36 years old. I'm 38 right now. I've done a lot in my life because I take action in everything I do. But this was 2 years ago, and I was with a coach. And just to get through this quickly, because we're kind of going through time, I was sitting there, I'm talking with my coach, and we were going back about a few things, and he said, well, Preston, he said, the reason because of that, it's because you're ADHD. And I was like, ADHD. And I pulled this face of confusion. And he's looking at me and he said, you mean no one's ever diagnosed you with ADHD before? I said, no. You're the first person in 36 years to tell me that piece of information. So tell me why you're thinking this. And so he starts firing questions at me. Do you do this? Do you do this? Do you do this? Were you like this? He's like, yes, 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 yes. He's like, well, you might want to take a real test and get an analysis just to see if you have it. Like, okay. So I went home and did like 20 tests online. Every single thing said I have ADHD, and it's fine. But, that's not a problem. It's not a hindrance in my life. It's something that I learned about myself, and it helped me to understand myself to improve better. So it was a moment of reflection that I don't know everything about myself. I don't know everything. And we're constantly learning and we're constantly improving. And our relentless improving becomes a greater understanding of who we are and what we can do. So I've got implementation here. So I've got 3 spots here I want to talk about. It's self, your mind, and blind spots. So yourself, when you realize things like I did in my story, you feel your weaknesses. I teach this when I teach how to build companies and support and coach in that way, because we all have strengths and we need to recognize what our strengths are, but not only what our strengths are. It was kind of like what Freddie Ravel was talking about, the silent, between the notes. You need to listen to what your weaknesses are, and so you can fill those gaps. Because if you don't know what your weaknesses are, if you think you're great at everything, sorry, you're probably good at a lot of things, but there's some things you're not good at. And you need to hire, or you need to fill, or you need to support your life with those things that will help you to get to your goals. My amazing wife is an example of that. She's great at a lot of the things that I'm not good at. We've been married for 12 years and I love her to death. And, but she supports me and, she helps me in life with those things. You can do that the same thing with your friends or your employees at work or your coworkers. You have to build a team that will support all those gaps so that everything, when it comes together, can make a whole perfect thing. So next thing is your mind. We want to have relentless improvement in your mind and constantly be learning, constantly be educating yourself. I get up at 5 a.m. I try and educate myself for 2 hours before I get started in things and learn, because your mind is a muscle and you need to exercise it. If you don't use it, you lose it. And I have a friend I've had the fortunate opportunity to spend time with. He was an amazing doctor. My son's really smart, and he took my son through a tour at the Mayo Clinic down here in Scottsdale and showed him their brain labs. And we walked through virtual brains of custom clients and things like that. And my son got to perform an aneurysm operation on a mock-up, and he's 8 years old, by the way. But your mind is a muscle, and Dr. Bernard Vendock told me in two of their studies, there's 2 things that you can do right now and for the rest of your life that will help to build that mind muscle. And one of those is music, so learning a new instrument, and the other one is learning a language. So learning a new language and new music or new instrument, like Freddie Ravel last night with his amazing piano playing. That builds the mind. It lights up, all the areas of your mind. So you're expanding your mind, you're flexing that muscle, and you're using it to build strength. And this will help you down the road. This will help you long-term to create, less memory loss and more mental acuity as we age. And then we have blind spots, and we need to, look at those and learn about them and be open to them and realize, like I learned in my situation when I was 36 and they said, oh, you have ADHD. I said, okay, well, that was a blind spot. I didn't see that, but it's not a weakness. It's not a problem. It's just a thing. So what can I do to support that? What can I do to make my life better? What can I do to make my work better? What can I do to make my family life better? What can I do to be more intentional about everything I do? And so, we have blind spots and we constantly learn those through our lives. So the next pillar, and now I'm going to get a little intense here, and I'm going to try and move fast through this. It's pretty heavy, but normally I break this out into a lot of different trainings. But I want you all to get through this. So bear with me and just try and trust me, and I'll wrap this up in the end. So what I want to talk about is the truth is now. So our past, future, and present, not past, present, future. So the third pillar of life of action is separating what is real and what is not real. And this is really important to taking action in your life. So I'm going to talk about the past. So we often use the past to guide our decisions today. So this can be valuable. Like a little kid, you touch a stove and you go, it's hot. I don't need to touch stoves anymore. I just learned. Okay, that's hot. You go to the fire. You don't get too close to the fire. You get burned. Those are good things to learn. But the past can also create stops. So whoever, think of the time, all the people out there, if you've got up on a stage and everyone laughed at you and made fun of you and said, oh, you didn't sound very good, or you weren't very funny, or a time where you loved and you got rejected, or someone hurt you, or they took advantage of you and they broke your heart, or even really serious things like abuse. Someone that had an abusive parent or an abusive situation in your life. These past experiences create stops in our life. They create situations that hold us back. And these things restrain us from being able to live a life of action. They don't make us wrong, but they're things that we hold on to from the past. If you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the first one, psychological, which I'll skip over a second, I'm going to talk about safety. So we look at the past a lot to help us to deal with safety. It's a defense mechanism. And so when we've gone through things like trauma or, had anger or distrust, it can create these defenses, and, it can really cause a lot of challenges in your life. And I'm not a big quote guy. I love quotes, but I think in numbers and comprehensive things. I don't remember words, and I forget people's names, which is really a bad weakness, a blind spot in my life. I'm trying to improve on always. But a quote that my grandfather had on his fridge that really resonated with me as a kid when I was little was one that it went something like this: hanging on to anger is like taking arsenic. You're only poisoning yourself. Now, it's really true. That's a really true statement, because holding on to anger, you're the only one that holds on to it. So if you hold on to these things that are from your past, if you hold on to your stage fright, or if you hold on to these traumatic situations, or if you hold on to anger, you're taking arsenic. You're poisoning yourself, and you're stopping yourself from your full potential, and you're stopping yourself from living a full life of action, because our past can block our potential of our future. So now I'm going to talk about the future. Now I'm going to be a little critical on it. Just bear with me, and I'll pull this all together in the end. But plans are worthless without action. And I'm not saying that it's not a bad idea to plan. I think it's a great thing to plan and to look ahead. But plans are worthless without action, and they can cause worry. They can cause confusion. They can make you feel overwhelmed. Who's ever had a big test and they're stressed about it? Oh, I've got this big test. I got to pass, the bar. I got to pass the real estate test. I've got to go, to college and pass my test, or get into, my MBA program, or at work, I've got a big presentation tomorrow, or I've got a big speech, or I'm going to be speaking online in front of 60,000 people tomorrow. And we can think about the future, and it can be a problem. It can hold us back, and it can create stops. It can create worries. And I want to separate that. I want to separate that and create something that's different that we can work from. I'm going to give you that in a minute. But our plans are only dreams without action. So our plans are only dreams. They're not real. And our future isn't real without action. So I encourage you all to take action. That's my goal today. So we need to stop lying to ourselves. I know that's harsh to say, but we need to stop lying to yourself. And, because we do that, it's natural tendency, and start living a life of action, because living a life of action is living your dreams. And I want you all to live your dreams. So now bringing it back to the present. So the truth is in the present. So I'm going to push you guys a little bit to just hang with me and think outside of the box here, because I'm going really, really fast for through all this. And so I hope you get it. I hope it connects with you. I want to bless you and uplift you. But the only thing that's real is what's in front of us. The only thing that's real is what's in front of us right now, right here. So whatever happened in the past that holds you back, or whatever is in the future that you're worried about, isn't real. Just think about that for a second. Because the only thing that's real is that you and I are here, and you're listening to me, and I'm talking, and maybe you're chatting, and all these different things. But it's so important to understand that and to separate that, because that's where we can take action. And right here, right now, is where we can make a difference. The only thing that you can do is what you are doing right now. But don't worry, everything's fine. I'll give you some tools to get out of this. But you don't need to continue to look back in the past or look into the future to get these solutions. So what I want to talk about next in pillar 4 is conscious decision. So we have conscious decision. Conscious decision is how we gain control of the present. So I'm giving you all permission right here, right now, to let go of your past and let go of your present worries, those things that hold you back, those things that stopped you throughout your life, because you're not bad or good because of the past or the future. You're just you right now, and you exist right where you are here today. And you can make a decision right now to be whatever you want to be. And you can make a decision right now to do anything that you want to do. So I want you to let yourself be free of guilt and free of anger, free of distrust, fear, or anything that's holding you back. Because remember, this is the only place that the past actually exists, is in the past. And you can make a conscious decision right now to be anything you want. Just do it. I love that old Nike slogan, when I was a kid. It says, just do it. So it's that simple. So without the past or without the future, what's next? Say, okay, well, yeah, if I can't plan ahead, Preston, what am I going to do now? So I encourage you all to be a solution seeker. This is in your business, in your life, in your relationships, in anything. If we look for solutions in life, it will guide us to the pathway of success. You can create anything you want to be, but you have to consciously decide. You have to decide to be the person what you want to be. So, without letting the future interrupt that, you go, okay, this is the type of person I want to be. I want to be a successful person. I want to be a great dad. I want to be a good husband. I want to be a great friend. I want to be a smart business person. Well, the only thing you can actually do is what you can do right now. So right now, act as that person that you want to be. If you want to be a great husband, go and share your love and expression with your spouse. If you want to be a great father, think about that and come up with a plan of how to interact with your kids to support them and give them love and make them stronger and better and happier. If you want to be a great business person, live right now like a great business person. It doesn't mean you have to go get up and write, your plans and sermons and things like that, because business people need breaks. You need a rest. You need to support yourself. You need to have fun and enjoy your life too. And that's also part of being a great business person. But live the life that you want to have right now and go and do it. Take the steps right now to be the person that you want to be. And I encourage you all to be unstoppable. Don't let anything get in your way. Don't let your past get in the way. Don't let your future get in the way. Be unstoppable and practice relentless improvement. We can always improve. We're constantly improving. The world is in motion. The world's literally, spinning right now. Well, besides that, that's just, an idea, but the world's constantly changing. It's constantly changing and going through different changes in time. And, so if we look at that and we go, okay, the world's changing right now. How do I become a part of that change? How do I keep moving forward? We need to be unstoppable. We need to keep improving, have relentless improvement, learn, exercise, improve yourself, get better, and move with the world, because everyone outside is moving too, and the world's progressing. Things are changing, like those 7 things I brought up before. All those things are changing in the world right now, and there's hundreds and thousands of other things that are changing right now. and you can be a part of that change if you choose to be a part of that change. You can practice relentless improvement. And going back to the whole topic summary of the event here is to create your finest hour. I want you all to create your finest hour. Create your finest hour today and turn crisis into opportunity. And we do that by being a solution seeker. Look for the challenges that people are going through. Look for the difficulties in people's life. Look for the things that are changing in the world right now and take that crisis and turn it into an opportunity so you can create an opportunity and better someone else's life and create a solution for them. So that's, and then just to, kind of wrap up here, I really, really appreciate everyone being a part of this, this seminar. I really appreciate everyone out there attending. And, I thank everyone out there for taking action in your life, because all of you watching today, you're taking action, and you're taking action to relentlessly improve with me today, because I'm improving by being here and talking with you. You're all improving me by making me think about this and go through this again. And I love it. I love that opportunity. If I can help you, check out Operations X. It's my company. Multiply your business. We're a business growth company. We do impact videos. I got a special offer too for everyone in the conference that I just put up on the website. And we have impact videos. We did all the videos for this conference. I've done videos for about half the speakers in this conference. And we have a impact video offering where if you want to create a differentiation video to separate your company from the herd, then we can help you do that. $297. We'll create it. You can put it on your social media. You put it on your web page. You can put it on all the different places out there in the world and advertisements to bring in customers to help to grow your business. I want your business to be the most successful business in the world. I want to create your success with you and help you, and do that through an impact video or anything else I can do. But it's important to make a difference. It's important to make this change and create a difference. And if we've got, we're about finished up here with my time, but if we've got any questions or anything, I'd love to open it up for questions.
Yes, everybody has absolutely loved and adored your outstanding, thoughtful contribution, which has impacted me greatly. Where do they get the impact video? Where's the link?
So it's right here, operationsx.com, impact videos. As soon as I'm done talking, I'll try and post it in the chat a little bit so you guys can see it. Okay, cool. But Operations X. So operations, plural, with just the letter X. And the X is to multiply your operations, because we care about making your company successful. Like Mark talked about earlier, exponential growth. I want to grow your company by multipliers, by 2, 4, 8. We want to take that to the next level. So operationsx.com/impact videos. You can go check out that link, or just go to operationsx.com. You'll find it. And, I appreciate everyone today. And I hope you all to live the best life ever. Make today your finest hour and turn crisis into opportunity. Thank you so much, everyone.
So Preston, man, one of the questions that was repeated many times, well, what was that super cool technology you used to do this presentation? So you may want to just briefly tell everybody and then post it in the chat.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm all about creative solutions, and I wanted to do something fun and different. It's a cool new way I found to do presentations. You can build interactive live presentations. It makes it a little more exciting and engaging, in these video conferences. And it's kind of the newest thing that's coming out. So I'm always relentlessly improving. I built this whole presentation this week while we were running the whole conference, because I've never done anything on this platform before. And so I had to adapt and jump in. I wanted to make this special for everyone out there. So I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you.
It was extraordinary. Everybody loved it. You're making ordinary people extraordinary, and that's really a gift, Press.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you all the presenters and everyone. I mean, they're all so inspirational. I've taken so much out of this. Look up everyone that's here. Go check out all their products. Everyone in this conference is a game changer, and they will improve your life. I promise you that.
Thank you, Preston. I know that your work has helped us so much. We could not survive without the work of Preston and Operations X, because he keeps us on the cutting edge, and we're not always on the cutting edge technically. So thank you so much for all that you do for us personally. It's amazing.
Let me add that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've ever thought of having a trailer, just a little 2 or 3 minute trailer that, like he said, differentiates you from the sea of sameness, he is the guy. You know, get to him, look at what he's doing, listen to him, tell him what you want done, and see if he can't do it for you, to take you and just start to escalate you. Because all of us are here to level up. If you're here, you're studying, you're here to elevate exponentially, as we've been saying through the whole 2 days.
Well, and the other thing everyone needs to know is, if you're trying to promote something on the internet, people respond so much better to a video. Video is everything now. So if you're out there trying to promote and you don't have a video, go get one. Let Preston help you with your video, because it makes a world of difference. Everything is video, and you'll get so many more views and so many more likes if you're doing video, as opposed to just, writing copy. So great job.